Hello, everybody, okay?
Laura.
Okay, Diane, we are ready.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. Okay. This is, well, I'm going to open the meeting. This is a meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission. We are meeting remotely in accordance with the governor's guidelines and open meeting laws during the time of COVID. It is 6:32, and those in attendance here tonight are Diane Cohen, Brian Smith, Brian Frizzetti, Joan Frizzetti, Juvie Hartweg, Melissa Scartesi, Dory Jamison, Selectman West Bloss, and Selectman Laura Kemet. And John Zuko. Did I get everybody?
We're good.
Okay, good. All righty.
Oh, we have one more coming in, Diane. Melissa, hold on.
Okay. And Melissa
Valakovic.
Valkovic.
Yep.
Malkovic.
Melissa Valkovic is joining. Okay. So, is she in? Can we start?
Yep, we're good.
Who's got a radio on? Someone have a radio on or something?
Could everybody please mute if you're not speaking? Could everyone please mute if you are not speaking?
Melissa, can you just do that? Can you mute everybody as host?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Please don't mute me. Thanks. Okay. All right. So before we begin, I would like to say a couple of things. Due to illness, I was not at the last meeting. However, I did listen to the last meeting. And I would like to state on this record here that there was sort of a suggestion made that there are things going on behind the scenes here without the knowledge of all commission members. And I would like to say very clearly that the only things that may go on outside of a meeting, and they do not violate meeting laws because we're not meeting in groups, but anything we do talk about always 100% has to do with events that are going on at the camp and possible events that are going to happen at the camp that we would like to see happen. So that being said, to give any other insinuation that something is amiss or anything less than above board and for the benefit of the camp, I'm going to really take exception to. We are a group of volunteers. All of us work full time, or most of us work full time. And if we can call somebody and check on something that is for an event that's coming up, it's going to happen. And if people have a problem with that of any kind, then my suggestion is please call at any point anybody that you think might be talking about something and ask what's going on and if anything is indeed going on. Because I know I, for one, am really happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. Okay? Secondly, in regards to the Friends of Camp Kawani, that 5013C can operate entirely independently. I have looked at the way it was written up with the state. I have looked at, 5013C laws in general. And as long as the Friends of Camp Kawani are, excuse me, filing tax returns properly and not breaking any of the laws regarding 501(c), and I don't believe that they are. They don't have to come to us for any permission to do anything. It would be nice if we could all work together, but past events, I understand people feel one way about something and another group might feel another way about something. I'm hoping all of that can go away because I'm really kind of, to be very blunt, sick of the past and we need to move on. Okay. But again, wasn't really a part of it, so I can't relate to how everybody feels about it. All I can just say is let's move on. But as long as they are doing that, they don't have to come to us with anything. It would be, if they want to run an entirely separate event that has nothing even to do with the camp, it is within, from what I read, it is within their right to do so. So I'm hoping that building relationships going forward with people in town, such as yourself, Melissa, and anybody else, that hopefully we can be more integrated with the friends and the friends with the camp. And if that doesn't happen, then maybe we have to look at the possibility of developing another 501(c). I don't know, but I do know that from what I read, it can be a separate entity that does not have to ask our permission or consent to do anything as long as they're operating within the bylaws of what they have petitioned the state to do, and the state is given permission. So if there are any questions, comments, concerns regarding any of that before we move on to the agenda, I will hear them now. If not, we can move on.
Diane, I have a question. We're just looking for transparency. That's all. When we go to a meeting, we hear that all these discussions are taking place. We just want transparency. We have nothing against Friends of Camp Kawani. If they want to use our lodge, by all means, just meet with us as a group. That's all we're looking for. From a standpoint of events, that's fine. Just bring it to the commission, just like we bring facilities things to commission. It seems like we don't find out about things unless we come to a meeting, and then we find out that, oh, all these things are taking place. And it's like, it seems like we're being left out, some of us.
Okay.
I know
well,
this is not my forte, events, but
right.
just be transparent. That's all.
Okay. Well, and I can maybe understand that in regards to the way things have to run though. But for example, like a paint night or something, we've already voted to do those. So every single one shouldn't have to come to the commission. Okay. And if we had to wait to do that, we already are so encumbered by the town bylaws that we must adhere to operate above board with this town-owned facility, that to add extra meetings and such and extra time toward getting an event together, it's counterproductive. So, we've never done a new event at the camp or anything else without bringing it to a vote. And that is how we have to operate. And I understand that. And bringing in Board of Health, we have to do that too these days. I get it. But I just didn't like what I thought I heard. So I'm putting it out there now that there was some sort of backdoor dealings or whatever, whatever I interpreted it as. So I wanted to set the record straight now. As far as transparency goes, let me just say this last thing before we move on. The number one goal for this camp right now is to make money and provide recreation. So we have to make money in order to provide it. Our budget is going to be bare bones, as are all budgets in the town next year. With this coming override, which we anticipate won't pass, but I pray to God in heaven that it does. And we need to be mindful of that. So everything that we do, and especially since we're in a pandemic, I realize we're not a full-fledged recreation department. We're volunteers. We could not be a full-fledged recreation department. This town is way behind other towns in providing those services. But now it's not going to happen this time. It's not going to happen right now. We're in a budget crisis. So we have to do what we can, which we've promised to do and have been charged with as this commission to provide recreation. So the number one focus that we should be spending any of our time on is what events can we get at the camp? What can we provide for seniors? What can we provide for adults? What can we provide for kids? That should be the total focus right now. We were able to get money for the ancillary system over the new stove. We've got that put in. Though the camp maintenance wise is in a better place now than it's probably been in the last 7 years. Haven't had any roof leaks. Things are fixed, new stove, you know, floors look great. We've had replaced moldings, you know, wood treatments done. Everything's good. The big stuff has been done. Fireplace is operating properly. We don't have to worry about blowing up with gas and everything else. I mean, this is all good stuff, but it's stuff the public doesn't see. So right now, that's where I want our focus to be. That's all I'm trying to say. We're going to try and be as above board in all of it. But sometimes, given the schedules that we keep, phone calls have to be made at 9 o'clock at night saying, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Let's bring that up or whatever, you know?
So, Diane?
Yes.
Laura has, is this Laura? Laura has her hand up.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Look, I think you guys have done amazing stuff in like extremely difficult times. I've told you guys this, and I've said it at selectmen meetings, and I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, feel that I've been extremely impressed with the fact that you guys are like, you know, keeping it going in the midst of all this craziness. But I hear what Brian Smith is saying, and I think maybe there's some definitions of roles and responsibilities as you move forward with the Friends of Camp Kawani. You know, is it Friends of Camp Kawani are going to be, you know, holding events for fundraising? Yes. Are you guys going to also have like 5 or 6, you know, keystone events? Maybe I'm making this up. I don't know how many you'd have, but you know, like I know when I've talked to each of you individually, you've talked about a Halloween event, a Christmas event, you know, those types of Easter event, that type of thing. And so it may be that you're both having events up at Camp Kawani, but know that the Friends of Camp Kawani are the ones raising money for you to have those keystone events that you're having up at Camp Kawani. So I think, you know, the Friends of Camp Kawani piece is so critical. It's always been critical, but it's never more critical than it is this year, and prospectively, because we just don't have the money to be funding recreation programs up at the camp. Yet we know that there's even more of a need than there ever was before to have the programs up there. And as a town, we cannot fundraise money. We have all these prohibitions against it. So you need that 501c3. You need that conduit for the fundraising, which is what the Friends of Camp Kawani is. And you need the two groups to really work hand in glove, you know, together, because obviously I've done a lot of fundraising, and I know others on the commission have. You know, you don't want to be fundraising and having the money spent in a way that, you know, like you kind of make representations when you're doing fundraising, like, hey, we're fundraising for the Christmas program, or we're fundraising for X, Y, or Z. Maybe you don't have to be that specific, but you definitely have to have a vision on how that money is going to be used. So I think once the, you know, sort of transition to, you know, the more robust relationship and partnership between the Friends of Camp Kawani and the Recreation Commission starts to happen, you know, part of it's going to be a little bit of feeling each other out on what are the roles and responsibilities, what's our focus, what's our vision, what are our priorities, and you know, so there is going to probably be a little bit of discomfort as everybody tries to figure out those roles. But I'm just hoping that everybody tries to go into it knowing that at the heart of it, you guys all love Camp Kawani and want to bring recreation programs there, right? And so you've got at least that fundamental thing in common. And so anyway, I know I went on longer than I intended to, but that's all I had to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I also, in terms of,
Hold on,
when you're,
hold on, Juvie, is that you?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I just want you to be recognized.
So in terms of, parents, I think you were speaking of Brian, all I wanted to do was begin the conversation, and we know that the conversation has not, really been an open conversation. That
Juvie, you muted yourself.
Can we try again?
Quickly,
Better.
please.
So I think, what my intention was, and I did let you all know that I wanted to make sure that we started the conversation with the friends. So I reached out because I thought that it was time that we had much more serious conversation about having them join us. We invited them to participate as volunteers to the Winter Wonderland. Unfortunately, it was just too soon. We didn't have time to kind of, get them involved. But the whole point of reaching out to them was to start a relationship. So that transparency part, I'm a little confused about that because there was no planning whatsoever. This was just primarily, let's get back to a conversation where we can begin to talk about our future together, because up to this point, there hasn't been. So I don't know that there has ever been anything that we have decided, without this board's,
Without this board's collective permission and approval.
Absolutely, and I was very upfront about the meeting that we were to have, and we did have a good meeting. Just to reach out, just to get to know a few of the their board members, and so I think moving forward, from this point on, we cannot always
Okay,
share agenda that. It's just, to me, I think this was just a building block, and I was a little bit floored that there was an insinuation that I
it's okay. There was, we've discussed it now. Please know there is no malice, or intent to, subvert the rules or anything else. Okay, please know that. And I think if we all just understand that, and we've all put it out there that we need the friends, we need a 5013C for us. Hopefully it will be the friends if that's the way everybody decides to go. And but because we are a town entity, we have to adhere. We can't fundraise. We need a 5013C. There is one available. Let's hope we can work together, and let's move on and start fresh. Melissa, do you have anything else to say?
Well, Brian Fazzetti has had his hand up for a while.
I'm sorry, Brian. I apologize. Brian, please go ahead. I don't see his hand up. Is he frozen?
Right, like I was getting cut off and on. There
Okay.
it was.
You're
Am I
frozen.
frozen?
You're for me, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Am I frozen?
Don't worry about it for me. Apparently other people can see it. Go ahead, Brian.
Can I-
I can hear you.
Okay.
Sort of.
Because everybody's blank on my screen too, so I didn't know if it was me.
Keep
All
going.
right. There was no insinuation of anything. I don't know what anybody heard last week, or if people want to go back and re-listen to what went on last week.
No,
But I
don't.
got handed
I can't hear. Is anybody else
with
hearing?
a
Brian, your connection is very sketchy and going in and out. So I can't really hear anything you're trying to say, and I'm sorry.
Okay, let me try to reset.
Okay. Oh God. Melissa, you're so still. I thought you were frozen, but I can see you blink. Okay, Melissa Valkovich. Is anybody, I can see John moving. Wes, I just saw you move. Thank you. Okay.
Everyone
All right.
else good.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's not me. Okay. Brian's resetting. That being said, I know I will give Brian his piece when he comes back on, but we really need to move on, okay? So, Dory, if you would tell us the first agenda item, that would be great. Yeah.
You'll have to unmute yourself, Dory.
Sorry about
There you go.
that. Okay, yeah, approval of minutes, March 8th, 2021, open session minutes.
Okay. Did everybody read the minutes? Since I was not there,
Mhm.
I cannot do anything. So, would anybody, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the
I
last.
will motion to approve the minutes
Thank you.
from
Jim.
March 8th.
Thank you. Would anyone like to second? Melissa? Thank you. All those in favor, Melissa?
Yes,
Aye.
Aye. John Zuko? Aye.
Aye.
Juvie?
Aye.
Brian Smith?
Aye.
And Joan? Okay, I cannot, I'll abstain, and Brian is not here. Okay, so whatever the record is there.
Mhm.
Next item,
Next is new business. I think we wanted to talk about the cleanup day
yes.
from Kelly Amaral.
Good. So Kelly Amaral reached out to me and after the Winter Wonderland as well. And she would like to have the National Honor Society kids earn more volunteer time by helping out at a cleanup day at the camp. I told her that was certainly possible and we'd greatly appreciate it. What we need to do now is to establish a date so that I can get back to her. So does anybody have any dates that they think would be good to have our cleanup?
Diane, I think she said May 1st. It's their service day. They have a May 1st service day.
Okay,
Well, actually, if I may,
please
did
go
speak
ahead,
with
Dory.
thank you. I did speak with Kelly about that because I was confused as well. And I asked her and she said, no, May 1st is our day because it was confusing. And she said, but we would like to come out and clean on a day.
That's
'Cause it was
their
confusing.
own service day that
Yes.
they pick projects that they want, but there are other kids
Exactly.
that need more hours.
Yeah.
So we have to pick our day. Our day has traditionally been in April. I know that there is the Hanson Cleanup Green Up Day this month. I believe it's the 24th, I think. Does that sound right?
Of March,
Of April.
April.
It's always Earth Day weekend, and Earth
Yep.
Day is April 22nd. Although maybe, is Laura still here, or Wes, maybe you could say, or Melissa, or somebody could give me an idea, because I think it's a little different this year due to COVID.
Yes, so I can speak to that since I'm a member of Green Hanson. So
Thank
it's actually going to be 2 weeks because we can't really have people collecting together and coming together all at the same time. So the cleanup for the town will be, I believe, it will be I think it's starting the 10th to the 24th. So it won't be like one specific day, but there'll be a bunch of days for people to collect garbage and all of that. So it shouldn't impede anything in May for you guys and volunteers in terms of Camp Kawani.
Okay, well, we cannot do May 1st because we will not have our volunteers from the National Honor Society. They will be in other locations. So we need to have a day that is specific to Camp Kawani. And because we will be able to manage things at various areas at the camp, and I've talked to Gil about these kinds of events before, as long as we have people in, groups spread out throughout the camp, wearing masks and social distancing, we should be able to have one day where we can get everything that we want done. So I think because it's, I don't see a problem with, since we have our National Honor Society volunteers. I don't know if you guys want to wait further into May, or I think I would like to do it in April. So if you want to suggest some dates, Melissa, please go ahead, or Joan, Melissa, then Joan. I can't hear you. None of us can hear you.
sorry. Is it possible to coincide with Green Hanson, like within those 2 weeks, like not co-sponsor, but like,
Just co-occurring, yes.
yeah, like the 4th or something like that.
We have before, and it's always worked out fine. So, I mean, it's certainly something we can do. Who cares as long as the town and the
Yeah.
camp get cleaned up, you know? I mean, we're not in competition.
Sorry, my other comment was if the National Honor Society is if the kids are gonna help us again, can that contact be on site to manage them?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I will ask her,
Yeah,
but something tells me that might not be the case unless they could get another teacher or volunteer.
yeah.
But we can try to figure that out. Joan, go ahead. Joan, you're muted, honey. Joan, you're muted.
Okay, am I okay now?
Now you're
Can
okay.
you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Going back to what Melissa said, that you're supposed to contact them and let them know what day and what area you want to clean up. So, I mean, it's a little bit different, where ours would be the group coming to the camp. Am I correct, Melissa, in that one?
Yes.
Valid check, okay. So, I mean, when is our spring vacation, our April vacation? What are the dates on that?
April 19th through the 23rd is the 5-day week that is April vacation.
Okay, so do we want to do something during that week? I know we've got other things scheduled, but I mean, will we want to do something on cleanup that week so that other people from the town could come in, or do we want to choose another Saturday, like the 24th, or let's see, April 24th is the Saturday, and then the 17th is the Saturday.
Correct.
So,
I don't know. I would like to hear from other members of the commission, and if hearing none, I'll make a decision. Does anybody have any thoughts? Preferences, suggestions, anything? Well, then my suggestion would be that maybe we open it up to various days during the week. I know I can be up there during the week. Juvie, are you going to be in Washington that week?
I plan to be there the 20th when we run the Ancient Civilizations with the library. So I'll be there April 20th, but that's 9 to noon. I mean, if you wanted to do something in the afternoon, I could, but I am gone Wednesday through Sunday. So
Okay.
I leave the following day.
Okay, so we could do something on the 19th and the 20th. I can be there whenever, 23rd, 24th. So we can ask people.
Yeah, the 19th is a holiday. I don't know if that's a big deal. It's Patriots Day.
Yeah, it's Patriots Day. Is there a marathon this year? No marathon again. So who cares? And no, I'm just kidding. God bless the Patriots. I know.
Think it would be good. I mean, my personal opinion is the 27th. I think it's wrapping up, it's wrapping up the week. We've got.
That's a Tuesday.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong day. Sorry.
Okay.
24th.
24th?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is a Saturday. I'm fine with that.
Because that week we're doing a lot of stuff. We have like events planned all week at Camp Kawani. It's a good wrap up.
Okay.
I don't know.
Melissa Valkovich? Am I saying your name? How do you say your name? Am I saying it
So
right?
my last name is Valkovic. It's not pronounced any way with any of the way the letters look like they belong together. Valkovic.
Sorry about that.
My mother is still learning how to say it. And I've been married for 13 years, so it's okay.
I don't care.
But with that being said, so with the Camp Kawani cleanup, I'm wondering, do you guys do it all day? Is it just a morning event? How does it typically look?
It typically runs it's an all-day event.
Okay.
We typically go, I think, 9 to 4 or 8 to 4 or whatever. And the cabins get cleaned, things get raked, mattresses get wiped down and cleaned. Sometimes flowers get planted. We take an inventory of, what each cabin needs, although I think we're pretty good right now. So there is a lot to do. And we typically have groups. We try to bring in, donuts in the morning for the kids and maybe pizza in the afternoon and see where we're at.
Would you guys ever consider doing like a Saturday and a Sunday instead of like a Friday and a Saturday? I only ask because as a mom of 2 young boys, our Saturdays are pretty much shot with baseball and soccer. So I'm just thinking if the hope is to get more people and families and whatnot, maybe opening it up to 2 weekend days so that families who have sports on Sundays, maybe they could do it on a Saturday for a couple hours or vice versa. Just a way to, again, bring more people in and get more exposure to Camp Kawani, but also with that flexibility, you might be able to get various groups of people in there to contribute. So just
Absolutely.
putting it out there.
And I don't have a problem with any of that. I would pick a weekend day to go. If we could have other members of the commission that would be willing to physically be there, then I'd certainly be willing to do that. Juvie, as you said, is going to be away. I can do either the Saturday or the Sunday. So, if somebody else from the commission wants to step up, because I believe people from the commission should be there. Melissa?
I have weddings on the weekend, so I'm like,
Right. And John, please, I know you've stepped up a lot. You did the Winter Wonderland and all of that, and I thank you for all of that. And I know it's your busy season coming up. Melissa?
Yep, I can be there.
Okay, so we'll coordinate. So then it sounds like this commission would like to have the cleanup weekend. We can establish hours on the 24th and the 25th of April. We can put it out on the Facebook page and on our website, and whatever other social media things we have going on. We could probably do, since we're going to do it for 2 days, maybe we could do 10 to 3, if that's more reasonable for people. Gives the kids time to sleep in. Sundays, if people want to relax a little bit in the morning. And we can have a sign up sheet put out on our website saying the hours and the number of people. Does that sound reasonable to people?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't think this is something we need to vote on, is it?
No, it doesn't require a vote, just,
Thank you. Okay, so moving on, that's new business, Hanson Camp Kawani Cleanup Day. And Dory, you or I can be in touch with Kelly Amaral.
absolutely.
All right, thank you.
And-
Moving on.
I actually had just had a couple of quick things under new business.
Yep,
So Linda,
I'm listening, but if I don't get my dinner off the grill, I'm gonna be eating char, so.
okay. So Linda Waters from the Hanson Public Library, she thinks that every year we do at least one event that she can have. She's thinking of a musical duo from the 60s and the 70s, and she's looking at August 12th. And the reason this is on the agenda is that it has been in the past complimentary, that we don't charge for her. So I'm bringing it before the commission to take a vote that you allow the Hanson Public Library 4 hours on August 12th to do their musical duo. And if that is in the affirmative, then I can provide more details.
Dory, isn't it in our policies and procedures that any other committee, Hanson committee or organization can use the facilities at no charge?
She thought it was just, she had it for like one event a year, but she wanted clarification on that as well, so.
Joan, is Brian available? Joan, you're muted, honey. Joan, you're still muted.
I was looking this up earlier.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, how's that?
Go ahead, Joan.
Okay, I think Brian's on there now, but as long as it's a budgeted thing, they can have the 4 hours. That is their time frame during the week, from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as long as nothing else is scheduled for that time. But it's in policies and procedures, but it has to be a budgeted entity, and they are budgeted, so.
Is it,
they would-
Joan,
I'm
if I
sorry.
may, is it one event a year, or could it be?
No,
Every Thursday.
They can have more than one.
Okay.
If I'm
that
not
was the
mistaken, I
question.
don't think it gives the time. It just gives that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Brian, you read
Gotcha.
it earlier.
Okay, excellent.
As long as it's a budgeted and it has to be on a day that nothing else is scheduled, they can have
Yep.
it for free. Let me
Okay.
see.
Perfect.
Responsibility. Brian, you can speak on that because you read it.
Yeah, I think you still have them downstairs, but yeah, it's any,
I get it. That's what I'm looking for now.
it's any budgeted department that the
Okay.
town budgets. So it's
Perfect.
any day. I think it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and there's no limit to how many times it can be used.
Excellent.
Right.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was the question. So they're looking at Thursday, August 12th, which is available. So I will tell her that's a go.
Do you
And-
have what hours that they were looking at?
Not exactly. It was a 60s, 70s band. She just wanted to make sure that, that was a go, and then she's going to get back to me with the hours.
Is
the
there
date
a
is open.
rehearsal or anything that weekend, that day?
No, that day is available.
Great. Okay.
Yep. That's why we picked that day. So, okay, perfect. And if I could just, if that's good, if I could move on to, I was speaking with Michael Pettit today. Do you remember Laughs on the Lake? The comedian we were going to have.
Okay. Yep.
So in speaking with him, we were talking about getting that back on board. Available dates. We picked an April, May, and a June date, but the thing is, they charge $1,500. So I just want to get your approval to move forward with this. If we had 100 people at $20 per person, we would take in 2,000, meaning we would make 500. Then we would get 20% of the bar. So the Laughs on the Lake, there's 3 comedians. It would be 8 to 10 p.m. Probably open the doors at 6:30. So there would be some revenue from the bar, of course. And from the governor's orders today, I don't think we need to even serve food. It's a comedy show. So we've got some dates that are available, and they're Fridays, so that we don't, there's no weddings then, April, May, and June. So if you want me to proceed, I can proceed with that. And I think it could be a good thing.
Well,
I think we could make some revenue.
Who markets it and who does the pay system? Are we going to have to do it through Unipay as a town entity? If the Friends don't have to use Unipay, they could get to use Square or whatever they want. Could we ask them to do this? Or is the person that, is hired out, like Laughs on the Lake, are they responsible for that?
Well, we talked about that, and he does something called Brown Bag, which is like our Square. So I think it might be prudent for us to use our Square and get the $20 per person, because we're paying them a straight fee of $1,500. So I think we should do the Square and get the $20 per 100 person.
We can't.
We're not allowed to use Square.
Or, okay, so
Because we are a town entity, we have to go with what the town,
Yeah,
uses, which
so-
is Unipay,
Unipay, I
which
know.
charges an exorbitant fee for anybody to use their
So
debit
we could
card.
have, yeah,
And-
we could have that. He could do that through the Brown Bag. We could work that out.
Okay, or if the Friends wanted to sponsor it, they get to use anything they want, right? Like Square or Apple,
Square?
Pay, whatever. And
Okay,
those charge a much lesser fee, don't they, Melissa?
Yes.
Hi, Melissa? Does anybody know? I think they do, right? Because Unipay, it's like $4 almost for every transaction.
yeah,
When you go to pay your water bill online and you swipe, you want to put in your card number, they charge you an extra $4. The only way to get around it is a 25-cent fee for putting it in your checking account number. And so that's just not convenient for anybody these days.
right. Okay. Okay, so if you like, I'll have a conversation with him. If he can do the Brown Bag thing, take care of that. I don't think we need food. We've got the bar service.
I'm
if
going to
the
ask,
dates are,
would it be possible if people buy a group of tickets,
Mhm.
would it be possible for them to bring in their own food at their own table? Is that something I need to ask Gil about?
Yeah, because it would be, if we do 100, which we'd be shooting for, then we're gonna have to have like a caterer situation once it's over 75 people. So Um,
So
That's
they
the
can't
thing.
bring in they wouldn't be able to bring in like chips or peanuts or whatever they have at their own table.
I know, exactly. That's the thing, that if it's over 75 people, it definitely falls under the Board of Health with an event needs to be catered. So I haven't looked into this much at all. I just talked with Michael today and just wanted to get your feeling, and I'll call the Board of Health and I'll iron out all the details.
It just
But
seems like there should be fewer roadblocks to holding events where we can actually, have people in and make it cost effective for everybody, those coming and for us trying to make money. And there's always something.
yeah, so exactly. So I just have to, I'll do that. If I get your okay, I'll check all that out. And we're thinking of dates, and his marketing strategy was, you have them in on April and you sell tickets there for May, because now everybody's laughed for 2 hours. They can't get enough. They buy a ticket for next month. And, so we get April, May, and June. Definitely people are going to do it because it's a great show and they're going to love it.
Okay, I think it's a good idea to look into it. How does anybody
Okay.
else feel? Any other comments, questions, concerns on it? Brian Frizzetti?
Dory, the last time you had to submit a bill to the town accountant for the Square transaction fees. Do they have any issues with that?
I've only done Unipay with the town.
Well, during the last, the Winter Wonderland Walk, according to this, there were 2 Square fees.
Oh yeah, that's just, yes, no, that was not just a simple turnover. Yeah. To the
Okay, so
town.
they didn't, the town didn't have an issue.
No, because exactly, the town didn't do the Square. It was right. It was just turning over funds, basically. Yep, no issue.
From the South Shore Children's Museum.
Correct.
Right, so it didn't.
They were
have
doing the
to come
Square.
through us, right?
Right. Yep. We were just turning over funds. Yep.
So that's, sorry.
Isn't the South Shore Children's Museum a nonprofit too?
Yes, that's why they are able to use whatever they wanted. They were sponsoring our event.
Right.
That's why we
So,
need a 501(c).
but that's what the Children's Museum is, right? It's a
Yeah.
501(c). Okay, so why can't we partner with them instead of going through Friends of Camp Kawani?
Because the Children's Museum needs to fundraise for their own. And really, we should be partnering with people from our town. Just my personal opinion. I'm not going to tell anybody else how to think. I just feel like there is this out there titled Friends of Camp Kawani. So let's try to make friends and let's try
It's
to
not
be-
it's not sustainable. And all these other places, any other town you go to, Rockland even, they have the Heart Stuff playground, just as a perfect example. The PTO could have really, run their fundraisers, but instead they actually had to create a brand new 501(c)(3 just so that everything could be directed more so for the playground. It was so much more efficient, because if the PTO had sponsored that playground, it would have just gotten so difficult with all of the other activities that the PTO was doing. So like in Rockland, the Heart Stuff playground, they created a Friends, and it really is a much more sustainable model, because it's through the Friends. We can also create relationships with like the rest of the town, like for volunteers, for example. There's only 7 of us, so if we had a connection with the Friends, working with them and helping them grow. Like I know we've been approached, Melissa Scartesi, we've got a couple of people that have approached us and wanted to help. And, we have other things that we need to focus on. So having a Friends would, not just help us fundraise, but also, grow the base of supporters for us, and they can do the marketing. And I got to tell you something about the comedy night, Dory. Those comedy nights are challenging to market. If Mr. Michael Petit, he was the one that did the comedy night for the Children's Museum, he did not market that. So I would press him and I would ask him, how he's going to market it, because I think he is leaning on us to market it. And I can tell you that, that's challenging. And $25 is really more the running price. $20
Okay.
is a little cheap, but it's $25. And it's slightly challenging. You really do need a following. So and he is, I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know. I think I like 25 as well. And he did say he'd do posters and little sound bits and whatever we need for promotion. But I hear what you're saying, Juby. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
if you don't sell those tickets, it's going to be us scrambling, begging our friends.
Exactly.
So, and I can tell you,
Exactly.
the only reason I sold out that, for the Children's Museum with him in it and the two other guys was my mother's. I mean, my moms went out and I had moms that filled tables. I had 4 or 5 ladies that went out and just filled those tables. So I only really had maybe a dozen people do walk-ins. Everybody else sold it in advance. And this is where a friends group is key. So key. This is where the
Okay.
support comes in.
So why don't we get some information from him? I don't want to commit to anything until we've worked out whether or not this is an event the camp is going to put on, or whether or not we will have assistance in it. And also maybe we could ask him if for the specifics on how he's going to market, and what do we do if we don't? Maybe we could put some kind of a disclaimer. If we don't get a certain amount of people, we can cancel the event, because I don't
Right.
want to pay $1,500 and have to eat 1,000.
Exactly.
So these are all things we need to discuss. So
Yep.
we can talk about that with him, but feel free to reach out to him with those kinds of questions.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, and just one real quick final thing under new business. So for the caretakers coming back this year, we had 4 slots, but being fiscally responsible, we thought, I'm thinking maybe we just have 1 back, caretaker back with specific duties. And actually, I spoke with him, and he's willing to come back at even a reduced rate. So I just wanted your approval on that.
Right. I think that because he's willing to come back at the reduced rate and he works well with the person that is already there.
Yeah.
As long as like I said, and I would like Brian Frazzetti and Brian Smith to sort of take charge of this, because you guys are the facilities people, like a list of specific projects, because I want to measure, exactly who we need and how long we need them and what kind of hours they're putting in and what we have to pay them, because we need to have, fruit at the end. There needs to be completed projects. Now, I know that the screening still needs to be done. Some of the shutters, the stairs on the front and back of the screen house in the north end, things like that need to be done. So all of these projects, if you guys could, put together a list of what is feasible, that would be very helpful. So I don't know how Brian Smith and Brian Frazzetti feel about that.
We could pull up another site visit, Brian. Smith, you awake? I think he's sleeping on me.
He's sleeping.
The easiest thing for us to do is to go in with another site visit, maybe walk around with this caretaker. I know some of the stuff is going over the Ed, things like the shutters. I know we were hiring Ed to do. So that way we could take care of the money that was still left from CPC.
Right.
And some of the stuff, obviously, I think pretty much all the screens were finished from what I understood. There was one that was broken into. That's just a matter of stapling another one in, but that was a while ago.
That's been fixed.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that was a while ago, but the shutters are, I think, Ed's ball, isn't it, Dory?
Well, the shutters, see, that's the thing. In the north end, that's part of that CPC money,
Right.
that the north end to be shuttered. And we also are looking into the south end is a bigger picture type of thing. So we would need specific projects so now we're only talking about bringing back one out of 4 at a reduced rate. And I think would be good with that. And the caretaker is good with that and willing, to come back, the beginning of April. But I would definitely have assigned duties and responsibilities and projects and, all that tracking and
Yeah.
all that.
Brian,
That's most important.
We still have a list from when Brian and I walked last time. It wouldn't take us long to rewalk it again.
great.
Oh, let's do it. No, yeah, let's rewalk it.
Thank
I
you.
would love, I would appreciate that.
Joan, go ahead.
Okay, what I was saying is we had a whole listing that we got for Gordon to do for the North End, and that was to use up all the funds that we had left from CPC so we could finally close that out. And that was supposed to include everything on the North End. That was the shutters, anything else that needed to be done, footings and all. I mean, there's a whole big list, and it was what, $7 I think we came up to that was left over at the end. I know that we had a couple of bucks left, but I mean, that wasn't that much. I mean, who knows? But that was supposed to have been done by Gordon, not the caretakers.
Some of
And
those
who do we have for?
some of those projects are beyond the scope of the caretakers, and Gordon would need to come in. Things like the footings on the
Right.
cabin, because there's been erosion and washout. And
Right, but we've got the whole listing of it with his prices. So, I mean, I thought that we had already voted on to have him do those. And he has a start date. I mean, we've got the money there. But who do we have for caretakers now other than Ed?
Yeah, this is just bringing back one caretaker as opposed to 4. This is a cutting down. We have Ed and Bill and Jen, and then Maddie and Emily, who does events. So rather than bringing back the 4, we'd just be bringing back 1 at a reduced rate. Just to be, fiscally
Brian Fezzetti, go ahead.
responsible.
Dory, isn't this the, if I'm recalling, I had a small conversation with Ed. This is more of the mechanical caretaker, isn't the one that does more or less the tune-ups on different mechanisms and making sure that all the tools and whatnot are updated and not worn out?
Yeah, he's a great help in that area. So
Yeah.
exactly, Brian. So we would have Ed, we would have Jack, who happens to be the new not the new caretaker we're bringing back, the only one, and then Bill. So just be the 3 of them outside, and Jen kind of inside cleaning of the cottages, cleaning them up, sweeping, specific tasks every day, and Maddie and Emily are kind of for events.
Right.
Don't we need to know what specifically each caretaker is doing outside? Because it's not like there's a lot of grass to be mowed. I'm sure things got to be cleaned up, but
That's what we want the list for.
Yeah, and exactly, Brian. That's it. It's got to be specific, duties. Do this today, without a doubt. Yep.
I think you were taking a nap during that, Brian. I was
no,
talking
it's a
about
mute thing.
Oh, okay. No, you're exactly right, Brian. That's it. Specific duties, things that need, because there are things that need to be done, and they'll get done.
maybe we can work it out with Dory to do a site visit, Brian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do that.
Okay.
Okay. Is that all the new business story?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda. And
Vote to replace damaged cabin.
right, that's the big thing, is the insurance. Okay, so there was, since our last meeting, there was a new development in the insurance money that we got for the destroyed cabin. If we do not decide to use that money to replace the cabin and fix the other cabin with the bowed floor, if it doesn't go to direct cabin repair or replacement, then that money goes into the town's general fund. If it goes into the general fund, I believe it's a total of around 19,000, Dory. And
That's correct.
And if we decide to use the money for replacing the cabin and repairing the bowed floor cabin, the insurance then pays out, I believe, 24,000.
That's correct.
Okay. So we cannot simply take the insurance money and put it toward anything else other than the replacement and repair of the cabin. We can't fix signs or buy security cameras or anything else with it. But that being said, Dory, I'm going to let you explain where some of those other very necessary things can possibly come from.
Absolutely. So if we take this, the insurance money, we'll be able to get a brand new cabin, I believe, replace, fix the cabin that's bowed. And we still have money within our budget to be able to do the sign. Definitely. And they're coming tomorrow actually to remove the sign and put a replacement sign in and get that refurbished. And we'd be able to do the beam on the back deck. Gordon Lincoln is coming in this week to accomplish that. The thing we'll be waiting on is the security system. However, we have that article into town meeting that expands the current article that would allow us to be able to get the security system at that point.
It doesn't expand the money we're asking. We've already got it. It just expands the scope of money we've already gotten.
Correct. The walls of the article. Absolutely. So, we'd be able to do what we, I think, intended anyway to do that. Not just the knob and tube. It's we could do the security system. We can do other electrical. It's dark when you walk in. We want some lights. We'd be able to do all that. So
just to update, Mr. Bloss, I want to just point out the sign. We know that the sign down at the end of the camp really needs some refurbishing, and we've looked into replacing versus refurbishing, and refurbishing is really the best option because the sign's so cool anyway. And everybody that's come in to look at it has said what a beautiful piece of work it really is. So we want to refurbish it and possibly add some lighting to it and maybe even a place to put events that are going on at the camp. Security cameras are really, I believe, so necessary at the camp because we spend so much repairing things that people just destroy. They come in, they rip the hinges off the doors, they rip down the shutters, they break through the screens. It's really sad. And these things happen all winter long. And then in the summer, if no one is camping. So, these were things we thought were priorities in the camp and we were going to try and use the money for that. But we're not going to be able to. So this commission needs to decide what we want to do.
Yep.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this issue?
Well, I personally want to put a picture of Wes up there with a thumbs up saying, come to Camp Kawani. And that's it. And just his home phone number would be nice too. In case we want to set up some, set up some appointments.
No.
But no, yeah, that was pretty much the whole thing. We had to change. We have to reword the electrical one because it's just saying knob and tube is just so nothingness. I mean, there's so much electrical that needs to be updated. That's why we have to go with that.
And the beam out in the back doesn't meet code. And
yeah, well, I mean, banging your head against it really doesn't
yeah,
help.
banging your head is not a good thing for the tall grooms that are banging their heads on it. Yep, you're right.
Mhm.
Totally get it. I'll never have that problem. But so do you guys want to spend the money out of the current budget to repair those things and ask town meeting to expand the wording in the last article and then use the money to repair cabins? Or the other option was to turn the money over to the town, put another article forth before town meeting, which I know has already expired, but I was told that we could probably get it in and ask to use some of that money for repairs on the sign and the cameras and the cabins, etc. And the beam.
So-
No guarantees. Melissa Valkovic, I'll say it right one of these days. Go ahead.
Melissa V. Just go. I'm Mrs. V. At
Melissa
school,
V.
so
Go ahead, Melissa V.
Melissa V. So I know that you had mentioned about like refurbishing versus like replacing the sign and whatnot, but just given sort of recent events and sort of how the world is changing and sort of representations of things and whatnot, have you guys considered not going with that sign since there is a Native person, a Native American on there, and That's, in a
The
different
camp has a Native
direction.
American name, so why would that be offensive? That's an offensive question to me that you're asking. Why would you want to cancel someone that's, the camp is named after a Native American person? That's
Right.
This is foolishness.
I'm just asking. I'm not judging. I'm just asking. That's really.
Well, we did
My
discuss
only-
that, and because the sign, hold on, Mr. Bloss, and because the sign has, it's beautiful redwood, and anybody that has come in to look at it has said what a gorgeous sign it really is, true craftsmanship, etc. But it definitely needs to be refurbished and reinstalled so that mildew and mold buildup don't destroy it. We figured that we're not naming anything. We're not using a baseball team or anything else that isn't Native American. We're not representing people with a Native American. Like, I know the Cleveland Indians have to change their name because they're Indians, but and then everybody on the team is not an Indian, and they don't like the term anyway because it's Native American. But we're simply using the name Camp Kawani, which actually came, I believe, from the Campfire Girls and then the Kiwanis organization, right, Wes? Yep. The Kiwanis organization, which helped secure the financing for the Campfire Girls to purchase the land for the camp.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really naming the camp and not people. And we're not saying Camp Kawani Indian Camp. We're not saying Camp Kawani, even Native American. We're just saying Camp Kawani. So I think that I don't think anybody would have an actual problem with it because the Kiwanis is still an active group that is able to use their name as well. That was my feeling on it. I don't know how anybody else feels. Brian Frazzetti, go ahead.
I remember at the beginning, we had a discussion whether we wanted to keep the old or go with a brand new. After talking to many craftsmen, they said to take that sign down and replace it with something new would be
A crime.
just a complete crime because that sign was handmade.
Right.
It's not something you're gonna, you can go to a sign shop and get a piece of plastic and hang it up there, but you're not gonna find that quality of craftsmanship anywhere. And as far as, to take the name off the top, you'd be renaming the camp, which would be also a crime as
Right.
far as,
And
the commission.
and the camp is already named this in the National Historic Register.
Correct.
So that opens up a whole nother can of worms, Melissa, because it's already, a national.
Sure.
register.
Yeah, I wasn't referring to the name. I was referring to the image on the sign. That's what I was
right.
referring to.
Well, she's not the woman, the Native American woman paddling the canoe is not holding any weaponry. And I know that that's a concern on our state flag. So they're reconsidering something like that. So she simply, and we do have a pond and that is part of the property. So therefore, I think it's in keeping with the actual spirit of the camp. That's my feeling on it. I don't know. Anybody else have any thoughts on it? So
I think
again,
it honors the Native American tradition.
I do too.
Yeah.
Me personally, but it's certainly a relevant issue. It's certainly timely, and it is something we do need to consider. So, hearing no other discussion on this, then is there any other discussion on what we would like to do with the insurance money related to the destroyed cabin? Brian?
One other point is, are you going to be able, you can replace the cabin, but how do you know you're going to be able to fix the floor in the other one? Is that a guarantee?
Because there was a little damage, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may through you, I have 2 quotes to replace the floor in the other cabins. So that is definitely doable.
Yep.
But will we be able to
It
use
falls
that?
on, yes, it falls
Yeah.
under it.
Yeah, we'll be able to do, it's kind of like two birds, killing two birds with one stone. Yeah. We'll be able to do both.
Where are you getting the quote for the cabin? Do you have a vendor for that? Or because it's historic, so.
For the new cabin
Oh.
or which one?
If you
the
were to
new-
replace the current cabin, well, the current cabin's gone, but who is gonna do that? I mean, is
Yep.
it,
Well, I've got two quote. I've got Dan Dow giving us a quote and Gordon Lincoln. We have a quote.
Okay.
So, yep. And they're working with the building inspector. Gordon already has. Dan Dow was working with him today to meet all guidelines.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Brian Frazzetti, did you have a question? I know, Joan, hold on.
My
Well,
personal,
Henry,
Hold on. What was that?
okay, my
Hello?
personal preference would be to go after the 24 grand, replace that cabin, fix the other cabin up and just move forward.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty much taken care of on the list. The only thing that isn't covered would be 2 pieces of solar lighting, which we're gonna go to an electrician anyways, and probably cut that bill down to like $300-400 as
Okay.
opposed to 1,500. So
Joan,
everything else is still covered.
Joan Frazzetti?
okay, I was going back to the pricing and I did want to bring up the fact that that was the first article on here was for us to vote on what we were going to do. Replacing the cabin Gordon gave us a price of $18,875. I don't know what the other gentleman gave us for a price. And then it was $3,600 to redo the one that needs to have the bottoms fixed, the one next to it that needs to be
Right.
fixed up, jack the cabin that has the stump in it. That's $3,600. So that came to $22,415. And if we were getting $24,000 from the insurance company, we still have $2,000 left to play with to do into that south end on between those 2 cabins. So at this point, unless we have a better price from Dan, we should probably vote on the fact that we want to replace the cabin and then jack up the second cabin. And so that we have 2 cabins done in one, and then we can get that going so that it'll be done before all the weddings start coming. But that's my opinion, okay, on that. I don't know if we can do anything with the sign with any of the money that's left over or not, but anyway, I think we
Okay.
should vote on.
Okay, so is there any other comment, question, or concern about this topic before I ask for a motion? Okay, then I'm going to entertain a motion for the commission to use the insurance money to rebuild the cabins and contact the insurance and our town accountant to let them know that that is what we have decided. So would anyone like to put forth a motion to spend the insurance money for replacement of the cabins?
So moved.
Thank you, Brian. Anybody else want to second it?
I'll second it.
John Zuko, thank you. Okay, all those in favor, Melissa Scatizzi,
Aye.
Juvi Hartwag,
Aye.
Brian Smith,
Aye,
John Zuko,
Aye.
Joan Frazzetti,
Aye.
Brian Frazzetti,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Okay, so that motion carries. We will,
Wes lost. Was that an aye from you, Wes?
hey, he doesn't get a vote.
I'm putting him on the spot.
He can vote any other time, the other meeting. Okay, moving on.
Okay, request from UMass Medical School.
For
So,
the, okay, go ahead.
yep. So anyway, you had in your, actually, they were going to do this last year, but we had COVID. So they're looking to rent the site August 4th through August 6th. So, of 2021. And, they want to do it in orientation, rent the north and the south end campgrounds along with the lodge. So it's available unless, I know John Zucker may have said something about, I'm not sure, John, Girl Scouts, I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, she
But-
was looking, Kim King was looking at like 4 cabins or so for September or October, August or September. I'll just tell her to contact you.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, Mhm.
So right now, this is available August 4th through August 6th. So they would like to be there just for orientation and have, the both ends. And so it would be up to us to say yes, and what, would we charge for that?
We don't have a,
Okay,
Do we
so,
want to do a discount? I mean, typically it'd be like, 500. You could say, 750 and 500.
I was under the impression it was $500 daily because that's what we were gonna charge the scouts.
right,
Remember, it was like Monday through Friday was $2,500 for them just to be on the property.
Right,
So
like if
isn't
you,
that- Yeah,
yes, if you're at the south end, it's $500 a day. The north end is like 550 with, well, if you don't have a wedding, the south end is like 500. If you do have a wedding, it's 500. If you don't, it's like 750, and the north end is 550 with the Frontier cabin. So you're looking at like $1,000 a day.
I'm sure they got plenty of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So
okay.
it's available. So the question is, do we want to do that, and what do we want to charge? Is it $1,000 a day? Just,
Yes,
nice and easy?
yes.
yeah.
Okay, yep,
So you-
okay.
They don't need a special rate.
No.
Everybody, like we said, they have plenty of money. They're not a town.
They're
um,
coming to us, right?
Right, and they're
We're
not,
we're not
we're
giving it
not looking
away.
to give them a break because they're not from the town of Hanson or anything else. I was gonna say Whitman,
Absolutely.
but I'm not inclined to say that even anymore. Sorry. And Melissa Scartesi, go ahead.
what about the, they want to rent the lodge too, right?
Correct. So that's another
Oh, that's
so you
more
gotta
than.
consider that.
So,
Yeah, that's more than.
yeah, like 1,500 a day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But that will also give them the pavilion, right?
correct. And the Frontier cabin.
And the Frontier cabin, which is all, the wood stove is fixed, the chimney's fixed, and that's all good now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that that's reasonable. We're not including the bridal cabin, and we're not including the 2 electric cabins down by the water.
Well, I think we would if we did the south end.
Okay. Even the
So-
bridal cottage?
Yep. And that's, with a wedding package, it's 500. Without it, the wedding package, I think it's 600, something like that, or 625. So
Okay, Brian Frizzetti, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, that was my question. The north end, I think you said was 550 per day without a wedding? Right.
the north end is 550 with the Frontier cabin, and without
Right.
the Frontier cabin, it's like 500. So
Okay, so it's 500. And
so
then
say
the south end, you're saying it's 750, or is it 6.25?
yeah, I think it's 6.25.
6.25.
And that includes the bridal cottage
Yes.
as well as the pavilion. John Zuko?
Yep.
We have Wi-Fi for them.
We have Wi-Fi. The question is, does it connect out there? I don't think there's any guarantees at this point. Our IT director said it did reach down to the Cove, so maybe. I just don't know.
I think you might be able to get from, a hotspot like through by Woodman Terrace and everything over there in the north end. And if it can go to the Cove, it should be able to go to the south end. But again,
Mhm.
It's new during COVID. We just got the expanded Wi-Fi, so we really don't know.
Well, yeah, we don't even have a password yet, so we're just at the beginning of this.
Right. But people don't want to camp without Wi-Fi because everybody's addicted to their phones.
Yeah.
So we do need to consider that. But I would say $1,500 with the lodge.
That would mean you're only charging $475 for the lodge, because you're looking at north side, north and south, you're looking at $1,125 per day. And if you're only going 1,500, you're charging $475 for an entire day at the lodge.
Dory, do they need access to the kitchen? Are they bringing food in, or are they cooking, or what's going on?
They wanted access. They're interested in cooking their own food. So that means they would want access to the kitchen.
That might be an issue with Board of Health. How many people are there going to be?
Exactly. Yep. They're thinking like 200 people out, so we don't even know.
They're over.
Oh, well, yeah, we can only have 150 at this point.
Are they
Yeah,
aware
well,
of that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is just like giving them permission to like work out the details. I just kind of wanted the pricing from you tonight, what you thought, if, barring COVID, what we can do and what we can't do.
Well, they want the lodge.
They want,
the
the
lodge is
lodge in both ends.
Well, we typically get, well, how much is $400 for the lodge for
Yep.
a non-wedding event?
Yep.
Brian?
Isn't it 500,
No,
400.
400?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's for how many hours?
4, but 2 hours setup time, so 6.
Right, 4, 5, 6 hours.
Yep.
They won't need it for more than that, will they?
Well, if they're
Well, they're
cooking
gonna need
breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Yeah, they're kind of looking to just like exactly overtake.
they want it
no offense.
open, 24 hours. I won't say 24, but let's say 12.
Honestly, I got to say that I think we need to make sure that we secure this, because you're talking about a group that could possibly come back several times. And if this is something that's annual and they like it, now you have a recurring customer. And, honestly, if this is, you said UMass, right? Is this UMass?
This is UMass, yes.
Okay, so,
UMass
this is,
Medical School.
yeah, this is an absolute like opportunity for us to snag this school, because that's just one department. And I got to say, working with Stonehill College in the past for a program that they had, there's a department at that college that runs these things. It's probably going to be their, I don't know, admission. So, I mean, honestly, I think let's see if we can get them in there. $1,500 for these guys, and we've heard from other people. Most camps charge like $5,000. So
Right.
You're right.
1,500 is, I think, a nice round number.
Well,
Even
I
like,
know, but you're also talking about, we need caretakers there for an increased amount of time, because there has to be somebody from the camp there while people are there. Hold on a second. Joan, go ahead.
I think we should charge more than the $1,500 a day. Sorry to say, because they're going to be using the kitchen. In the kitchen before, when they used to rent it out, was $250 just to use the kitchen. So I mean, we're kind of lowballing them. And like she said, 5,000. But we have to find out from the Board of Health whether or not
Right.
we can do this.
Okay.
That's the first priority.
I have
Then-
a question. When did we just rent? Was that a thing? People could come in and rent the kitchen at the camp?
Previously, right, before the stove and all that went off, yes. It's written in the old policies and procedures. There's actually a price, and it's written in the old policies and procedures to rent out the kitchen. So, and there was a fee attached to it.
Interesting.
But
Because we were at, people have approached us, like food truck vendors, about renting our kitchen and shelf space just to prep before they go out. And we could make some
Right, but the
serious
Board of
money
Health
on
makes
that, but
sense.
Board of Health shut me down. So
right,
I was shocked by that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Brian Frizzetti?
All right. So you said the 6 hours is $400, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go 1125 and jump it up to 800 because you're doubling to 12 hours,
Right.
1925, I'd say 2,000 even.
That's what I was
2,000 a
thinking to
day.
cover caretakers and
Correct,
everything.
per day.
2,000 a
That
day.
covers your caretakers, that covers
That's what I
your,
was thinking.
anything else that you might miss out on that. They
Yeah.
have the money, as John said. I'm sure they have the money for it. You just don't want to set a precedence and say, well, we're going to give you a discount here, discount there. Not to mention, it's not just us that has to approve. It has to be us. The Board of Health is going to have to approve, because you have 200 people. They might require a caterer to come in for that. Because it's normally 75 people and below, I think
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, they will if they're
And-
inside more than 75.
And we also need the blessing from, the Board of Selectmen. So we got to make sure this all evens out, that we're not just giving away the farm. I mean,
Right.
So
I think it's more than fair, because you're getting
Yeah.
the entire place.
it's just,
Okay, so Dory,
yep.
then a preliminary discussion with them would have to include, obviously, the price, what they would have access to. If there are questions, then you can explain the costs. And then all of this is pending Board of Health.
Yep. So I'll initiate discussions at 2,000 per day, barring all approvals, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, request from Tracy Ken, July 5th through July 9th,
For the
Scout
Boy
Summer
Scouts.
Camp.
Right.
So she wanted to come, she sent an email to us and they wanted to come in 5th through the 9th. And John, does that interfere with the Girl Scouts at all? Or that you were thinking of?
No, they were thinking
Oh,
August or September.
August. Okay, great. So anyway, they were looking to come in the 5th through the 9th. We do have a wedding on the end of the 5th through the 9th we could do. We had a wedding on the 4th and we had a
Right.
wedding on the 10th. So it would be Scout Summer Camp and it's available. So then again, begs the question, what do we charge?
And how many people are we talking?
So they're talking 30 to 40 scouts with 6 to 10 adults.
Okay,
So where they're talking 50
let's
people.
say 50 people.
Yep.
And
So,
go ahead.
yep. So 50 people. So that's fine.
They wouldn't
And they
have to
want-
have anything catered.
No, they just want to sleep over in the cabins. They do want to know if the kitchen is available. So they would want access to the lodge. So they would want cabins and lodge.
Every day. Could we get more detail on how often they would need the lodge, or can we give them specified meal preparation times?
Yeah, like the kitchen is available, but they want to know those dates. They want to camp overnight and they want access to the kitchen.
Yes,
For
and they can
50
have,
people.
but if, breakfast can't last from, 8 to 11 and then like, we don't need to have the kitchen open all that time because we do
Oh,
need to have
absolutely. Yeah.
staff there. I mean, you're
We might
there
have
during
yoga
the
going
week,
on.
but we need to
Yep.
have staff there when you're not there.
Yep.
So I would like more detail from them on specific hours and schedule of meal time so that we can give them prep time, cleanup time, and access to the kitchen. Do they need it from, 8 to 1 and then not again until 4?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. So
Right.
I would like detail on that. That's the first thing. I'm assuming they're talking about the south end.
Yes.
And then my other question is, this is in the summer. Do they want access, since we have decided to open the cove with swim at your own risk, do they know that there are no lifeguards?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay,
Right. Okay, I'll further that conversation. So we are amenable to it. The dates are open and
Ryan Frazzetti, go ahead.
Just a couple of quick ones. Dory, what was that date again? I'm sorry.
July 5th through
Through the
July
9th.
9th.
Okay, and either one of these two businesses that we were just talking about, we have to make sure whoever is doing the food is what is it, Safe Serve
Serve safe.
certified? Yeah, Serve Safe certified.
Yep.
Then also everything obviously depends on what the Board of Health is going to approve, and then obviously going through the Board of Selectmen if there's any.
Yep.
Yep. I know, because they won't let us do anything in that kitchen unless anybody's served safe.
Correct. Well, which I have a problem, and I'd like to maybe, just to get off topic for 1 second, but it's still food related. Maybe see if we can have someone from the Board of Health explain to us why we can't do, because your idea was great before. You have all these lunch tucks coming through Hanson, and we can make a small fortune, providing obviously we have a caretaker there first thing in the morning to let them in and out.
Food truck
Maybe-
food truck vendors have to be serve safe anyway in the state.
Right. Is there maybe we can have Gil or someone come in and explain to the commissioner, just tell us why we can't rent out kind of the.
No,
freezers?
he said he would
Or-
work with me on it.
Oh, okay, great.
And he was waiting for a woman that is going to be helping him with some of these inspections and things in restaurants, but she was in Virginia and I think she may have recently arrived. So I don't know. I'm going to look into them. I was a little tied up being sick. So I'm going to get back into it now. Yeah, because the truck vendors want to rent just space in our refrigerator, like $50 a month for a shelf, one shelf. It's an easy moneymaker.
So I wanted to just share with you guys, just because of the stuff that I did with the Children's Museum, the town of Hanover, they actually have people that train people to be serve safe. I don't know if you recall, but we sent Billy to get that
Yes.
training. So I was told and it's pretty standard for a Board of Health, we really, really ought to consider, and I know on our agenda that Scout package is coming up. We really need to think about who else we can have on either our RecCom or one of our caretakers that might be Serve Safe certified, because all you technically need, and Dory could address some of the food issues for future events, all you technically need is to have one person with that license, and they in turn oversee, quote unquote, oversee the whole event, and then we wouldn't be struggling with these things. Because I got to tell you, if the big thing with Mike's House of Pizza, I had to ask Mike's House of Pizza employee who was Serve Safe certified to serve the pizza. And if Mike's wasn't, kind enough to do that, we couldn't even put the pizza on the plate. So, I mean, it's something worth thinking about moving forward, because I know, with these Girl Scouts coming in, we definitely want more of these type of, or not Girl Scouts, just Scouts. We want a lot of these groups to come in. And one of the things that they're going to all ask is, what about the food? And, to be able to access the kitchen for a lot of these guys is important, but
Okay. So I really think we should have Maddie and Emily at least Serve Safe certified, both of them, because they are the event caretakers. And I'm willing to get Serve Safe certified. I think we should pay for Maddie and Emily to get Serve Safe certified. And so maybe we could look into where to do that for them. Brian Frazzetti?
Can we also, because I know Bill does some events and so doesn't his daughter, correct?
Yeah. Yes, Jackie.
Dory, is his daughter returning?
Yeah, his daughter does Wednesday night yoga
Right.
every week.
Can we maybe just send all four the event? Because all four of them do events.
Yeah,
So-
no, I agree. I mean, I think to cover us, I think it's best to have as many people as possible.
So Nancy Funder in Hanover runs those for the state, you guys. Just, I don't think Gil does, but Nancy Funder at Hanover Board of Health does run them. So Diane, I can give you her number.
That'd be great.
You can ask her.
Okay.
You know the cost,
so-
Julie, of those?
Yes, it's terribly expensive. It really is. Because I know I wanted to sign up for one, but it was more so that it was like several hours. It was like a full day of training to go through the state. And so that was my biggest thing, because it was too long. But it's a little bit costly, John. And then there's two different levels. You're supposed to get one for like the director, and then everybody else under the director. So I don't recall, but it was a couple $100, I think, for the director.
Okay.
And
do we know how often you have to re-up your certification?
Every 2 years, but it's cheaper because it's just a recert.
All right, so let's look into that. But in the meantime, we need to give the Scouts a price. Is that where we're at, Dory?
Yes.
Okay, so they want the South End, and they want, can you just tell them we can't give them a total price until they tell us how long they're going to need the kitchen for?
Absolutely.
But even the difference, that's really just a matter of a caretaker for a couple of hours. So if they're going to rent the South End, we would charge them what we would just charge the other people for the whole South End. And then the $400 a day for the, or possibly longer if they're doing the dinner, $400 to $800 a day for the lodge, depending on how many hours they need it.
Yep, exactly.
This a Hanson troop?
She didn't say.
Samantha Ken is the Eagle Scout that wants to build the gazebo.
Yeah.
What's a what
Melissa,
group, John?
Melissa
Whatever
Scartesi?
Just a side note, we really need to get, and I know Juvie, we were talking about it before, like a price list so we can be consistent with all these groups. Like, this is crazy that we're talking individual event. We should just have a price list.
We should have a package.
Like, even,
Yeah.
nonprofit group is this much and they need, if they're going to do the South End, this is that, if they rent both, this is the price. And so we're not, we got to be consistent because groups are going to start comparing. Well, they got it at this price. Why did I get it at this price? It's just, we just need to put something together so we're consistent.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
that's the challenge, though. I mean, that's we need to stop calling it the Boy Scout package, but we initially thought, we're trying to get that group to commit because we know we could double, there's certainly lots of those troops and we could kind of start building our packages around that. But it's really going to be tricky because all of these groups have kind of different requirements. And I know what we wanted, if you recall, what we said would be good for us is that if we can get these groups to agree to a Monday through Friday camping, because then it won't affect our weddings. And I think it's something that, we kind of have to, really consider because, if you do the Monday through Sunday camp situation, we're really going to compromise our weddings in terms of, being able to rent those cabins. So yeah, it's.
Can't we just do like a price per day?
The prices are on the website.
We absolutely
Yeah,
can.
we
And
have that.
I mean, the key to all of this is working with the Board of Health to know what we have for limitations on the kitchen and the different options. Obviously, over 75 people, they may have to bring in their own, catering, or they may have to have already prepped food brought in, but they can serve it if one of them is serve safe. I mean, we have to look at the options that Board of Health gives us to know before we can give a price. But I think to start, if we have people camping overnight and we know that they need the entire north end and we know they need the entire or the entire south end plus the lodge, I mean, I think we can safely assume that anybody camping overnight in a large group is going to need access to the kitchen. I think we can have our packages basically set there, at least as a preliminary base to go by right now.
Well, even do it a la carte, you know what I mean? Like if they need the kitchen, like they have the base price. If they rent the south end and the north end, it's this price. And then if they want to add the kitchen, it's they can do that.
Right.
Right.
And the kitchen can include, however many tables need to be set up for the kids to eat at or the people to eat at, et cetera, et cetera. But we do have to consider caretaker and energy costs. We do have to consider, our financial situation as well. So, would everybody agree to start off at they only need the south end and access to the lodge. If they're going to need access to the lodge for meal preparation, I think it's a safe bet that that's a 12-hour period. And
Yep.
that would be an $800 fee. And then caretaker hours to cover. So I think it's an even $1,000 just in caretaker costs and energy.
Mhm.
So whatever the south end costs to rent entirely for the day, each day, plus the access $800 a day for the lodge.
Mhm.
And then north end too, or just south end?
South end 700
south.
per night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just south.
It's south
South
end
end.
with access to the lodge. So that's $1,500 a day.
I thought south was 550.
No, north is 550.
Okay. South is
That
750.
includes the frontier. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what was your kitchen?
I got
800?
625 listed for South End.
That's
I'm
yeah.
looking at
That's 500 and then 125 for the bridal.
Do they
Yep.
need the bridal cottage?
Probably the reason we say 500 is because when it's a wedding, we just kind of go from 625 to 500. But
I
this
think-
isn't a wedding, so we would charge 625.
I think we need
Right.
to really find out if they even want the bridal cottage, because I know as a former Girl Scout leader, if I'm camping with, a group of 30 girls or boys or whatever, I'm not going to be that far away at night. I want to be in the thick of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they'll have the pavilion anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And then,
So can we get some more detail from them? And if they don't need the bridal cabin, then we take that into account on the price?
Yeah,
But-
to be honest with you guys, I think it's exorbitant. I mean, these, I happen to know the scout group, and there's 30, I think there's 30 kids, and like you had mentioned, Dory, they're using the kitchen. They're not going to use the hall. So I feel like charging $800 for the use of the kitchen times 4, they're going to be there. So you're talking about charging them $2,400. No, sorry, I didn't do my math right now. $3,200 to use the kitchen. It doesn't seem, I don't know. We're not talking about setting up the hall. It just, again, like you said, Melissa, a price list. If it's just the kitchen, if they're just there to pop a couple of things in the oven, it just seems exorbitant to charge.
Right. So what we need to know is exactly what they're going to be doing in the kitchen. Are you going to have 40 girls, 40 people a day needing tables to set up, using the kitchen and the oven all the time, and cleaning up, storing food in the refrigerator? We need to know that. Or is it going to be they're going to have access to the kitchen to cut up some veggies and bring everything out to the campsite or whatever? These are the things we need to know.
Right.
So it makes a big difference, because the group that is coming in from UMass Amherst or Boston or wherever they're coming from, Worcester is probably going to need the kitchen for different purposes than the scouts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to require, different hours and such. Brian Frizzetti?
Didn't we also have a scout group that wanted catering that we're still trying to work on? I mean,
yeah, no, the Braintree guys wanted the catering, but because remember, the Boy Scouts, the older guys will cook their own food. The younger ones, parents don't want to do that. So we have two different, you can have one troop, like Braintree has a Boy Scout troop and a Cub Scout troop. They're Cub Scouts, they're little guys want to do this. And so that's another consideration to take in. And they don't necessarily need the kitchen, but now you have to think about the caterer. Like, now what? They're not going to use a lodge, but they're going to need the food,
Okay.
provided.
So I think we've said this before at meetings, okay? We're not going to spend an entire meeting designing these packages right now. This needs to be something that's done outside of a meeting and then brought to the commission, okay? And it would be really super helpful if people could jot down on paper a proposal, okay? Because this can't be one person doing this, and other people are doing events and other things. So I think it would be really helpful if everybody would just put together what they think in an email, submit it, and we'll try to look it over. Dory, I know I would do it. And Melissa, if you want to help out with that. Juvie, you seem to know about it. But again, it seems like, does anybody else want to be part of that?
a lot
I'm
of this
being
is
open and honest here right now and putting forth. So there are no complaints. So that if anybody wants to volunteer their time to help get these packages together, because it's not a small job by any means, please feel free.
part of your issue is going to be you're talking about 30 versus 40 versus 50 versus 75 different kids. You're going to get different prices for each group.
Yes, Brian, that's why we need to discuss this separately, bring our ideas together, then come to a consensus. Everybody needs to put forth some kind of a proposal. I'm not going to spend an entire meeting on this unless we schedule it.
Does the town allow lunch trucks?
Yeah,
I'm not going to
Yep.
schedule a meeting here. If you want to put that down on paper, bring it up, put it down on paper, submit it. Do we want to do that?
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
not
that.
gonna
It's
spend
8:11,
any more
so
time
we're
on this.
11 minutes overdue.
Right.
Okay.
So
As
that's what
far
we're gonna do.
as-
In the meantime, could you please get back to Samantha Ken's mom? Is that her? It's
yeah,
Samantha, right?
Tracy.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Tracy,
Tracy. Could you please get back to her and find out in detail what they will need for the kitchen? Then we will better be able to give them a price. Find out if they will need the bridal cottage as well.
how about the
Yep.
pavilion?
They can
Yep.
have the pavilion. It's included
That's
in the
included
south
in
end.
the whole South End price.
Okay,
Brian
all
Pizzetti,
right.
That's the young lady that wants to do the gazebo, correct?
Correct.
correct.
Can we get another, where did Brian go? Can we get another site visit with her?
Yes, yes,
Because
that's,
the last one was a little confusing about the way things were worked out and how she imagined things and how we imagined things. And I just think it was a little thrown kind of up in the air. And I think that if we re-meet, we can probably get more locked in on
I think
really.
it would be better if you guys communicated directly with her rather than going through Dory. Dory has so much to do already.
Dory would be there that day. It would be during a weekday.
Right. So
Yeah.
couldn't you guys schedule it for when you wanted it? Like that way you know your schedule and she'll know hers.
Well, a lot of times we use Dory there so we can have Dory's input.
Yeah, Dory will
Yeah.
show up because she'll be there.
Right.
But you
So, I
guys
mean-
can set the time. Why? I'm just thinking
Well,
Dory
because
shouldn't have to make
I
all
don't
the
know
phone
when
calls.
Dory does. Dory might have a meeting because I know, what is it, the town hall, they have meetings at town halls. They have Zoom meetings, they have payroll days and all this other stuff. She knows her schedule. We've already given her hers. I can meet any day.
Okay. If it's
Yeah.
it's wide open, then go ahead.
yeah.
All right.
And that was actually, Brian, on my department head update. So you're right on the money.
Right. I mean, I'd rather give her the reins. That way, when she's not busy, is the perfect time for us. We'll make
Yep.
it happen.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. All right.
Okay, so next, should we move on, Madam
Yep.
Chairwoman? Okay, so next
Yes,
on the
please.
agenda is approve off-season discount for 10/31/21. So this is, I just have to get your approval on this.
Oh, this
but
is a fun one.
Yeah, it's the cutest couple in the world, and they want to get married on Halloween. And they are so enthused, and they've rented out the north end and the south end. And officially, technically, they will be there on November 1st because their wedding is the 31st. They'll be there on November 1st. And they were like, oh, can we please have the off-season discount, which begins November 1st? So I said, well, let me check that out for you and let me get back to you. So they are wonderful and they don't care about the cold. We went in, we did the tour. They're like, this is fine. We don't care. We just want October 31st, renting out both, and full wedding. So anyway, the question before you tonight is, would you approve an off-season discount for October 31st as opposed to November 1st, which is our written guidelines?
Brian Frizzetti,
But you said they're using the cabins too, you said?
Yeah.
Okay,
both
Yeah.
the north
North
and the
end
south
South
end.
end.
When do the restrooms usually get shut down? I don't remember.
Well, that's a funny thing because this year we also, you're not going to believe this, but we also have a wedding book for November 5th and November 7th. Both want camping.
So the
So-
bathrooms
Freeze.
be open.
Yeah, but usually, I think you need like 3 days of frozen temperatures for the pipes to freeze. So I
Right.
think we usually do it at the end of October. So I think it's doable.
I think
We've
we'll
got
be
this wedding in October and we've got November 5th and November 7th and they want the camping and they don't care about the cold. So I know it's
Um,
unusual and unprecedented, but provided the pipes aren't going to freeze.
John
If with
Zuko,
your-
go ahead.
Okay, since I've been in the wedding business for 40 years, if it was last year during a normal year, I would say no, because Halloween was on a Saturday. This year it's on a Sunday, and I'm looking at
Right.
schedules, and there was, in our office, there's only one wedding booked on the 31st of this
Right.
Sunday. So my opinion, I would give them a discount.
Yeah. Because no one else wants
Right.
October 31st.
Right.
They do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It would mean a lot to them.
Are we having our Halloween event on the 30th?
Possibly, right? That would be
Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah,
Yeah, probably.
we can do that.
Which, yeah, that'd be fine. Yep.
Okay. And do we want to leave the bathhouses open for the following weekend for the next wedding that wants
Thank you.
tipping as well?
Thank you. Yes, November
Yes.
5th and 7th, and that's important to them as well.
Okay, and
Um,
my last question is, do these people know that these cabins don't have electricity? Like, they can't be bringing space heaters and stuff.
Yeah, no, I know. We've been through it. We've toured it. They're totally on board. They really want it.
More
Yeah,
power to them.
I've brought it to, yeah, they've seen it. We've been there together. That's what they want.
God bless them.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so, is that something we need to vote on?
Well, we have to present.
Yeah, I think it is.
Has to go to the
Yes.
Board of Selectmen too.
Yeah, I would vote on that because it's one day shy of your policy.
Okay, so we're gonna
Mhm.
entertain a motion to give an off-season discount to the couple that wants to get married on Halloween. That's also leaving the bathhouses open into the first weekend of November.
Excellent.
Anyone
Well-
want to, so moved, thank you, Brian.
With a Board
John
of Selectmen
Zuko?
approval.
Yeah.
So pending
With
selectmen,
Board of
Board of
Selectmen.
Selectmen approval, yes. Okay, so did somebody approve the motion? Like,
I'll approve it, move it,
thank you. John, you want
whatever
to,
we have.
John, do you want
I'll
to
second the
it?
motion, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Do I
Aye.
have, thank you, Juvie, John,
Aye.
aye, Brian, aye, thank you, Melissa, Joan, you're an aye, and I'm an aye. Okay,
Yep,
okay, moving
Okay.
on.
Next is discussion on Macaroni Kid. I don't know, that's Juvie. I don't know.
I know, let's just push that out. We don't know what's going on yet
Yep.
with anything. So let's
Okay.
just push that,
Yeah.
put on the agenda.
Okay,
Yep.
moving on.
Discussion on Scouts package.
Well, we've discussed that.
Yep. Okay.
Okay,
Old business / correspondence. So I think old business. Does anybody have anything?
and of course, I'm gonna jump right to
Correspondence?
correspondence. I'm very pleased and happy that we could return the deposit for one of the weddings that was canceled because her husband left her or her groom left her or whatever it was. And we rebooked the date.
We did.
that's good.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Good. Okay. Is there anything else that anyone needs to bring up?
Dory, as you were talking at the same time, I know you gave me and Brian a very last minute update of what's going on with the stoves and how that's going to be handled. I was wondering if you might be able to share that with the commission.
Yeah, I was gonna do that under department head update, but
Okay, sorry.
no, not at all. Next is team reports. I don't know.
Nope, go ahead, go right to,
Department
department
head?
head update.
Department head.
Okay, so Ed would like to permission to buy a leaf blower. The one we've had, he said it's like 5 years old and it's junk. He has a battery powered one that he'd like to buy. It's $300. In researching leaf blowers, that's definitely fair. And it would be the only one we have, and we do need it, but we need the commission's approval for him to
Do
purchase
you know what
that.
brand it is? Did he tell you?
No, I
If
thought
it's
of that
battery
today.
operated, it would
Yeah.
either be like maybe an Ego.
Ego, that's what I was saying, probably an Ego, yeah.
Yeah,
That seems about right. I'd prefer to go battery operated. I think it's in keeping with the spirit of the camp, and we do need a leaf blower to keep the leaves away from the lodge
We do.
because of mice and other things
is
that will
blow.
start coming in again.
yeah, we do.
Yep.
Dawn?
So do we
Is
want,
that strong enough in compare? I know people don't like hearing it, but is that strong enough as in comparison to a gas powered backpack?
I don't, what he told me was he liked this one. He said he could get one half the price that would be terrible. But I don't know, this is the one that he preferred.
I
Battery
Like
powered.
I use an Ego lawnmower, and I have a large lawn, and it really cuts well. It
Yeah.
does. They're very good products. So if that is the one that he's talking about,
Mm-hmm.
then I would have no problem with it. The good thing about it is that the battery on that is interchangeable with a cordless drill, snow blower, lawnmower, everything else that they have. So if
Mhm.
in the future anything else should be purchased for the camp and it was battery operated, we could use the batteries.
Oh, that's cool. I'll find that out tomorrow.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So do we want to let him spend $300 on a leaf blower? Do we have that money in our budget?
We do. Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay. So would somebody like to make a motion to allow caretaker Ed to spend up to, there's probably going to be tax, so I'm going to go at $350 on a battery operated leaf blower for the camp.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Juvie. Anyone else want to second it?
I'll second it.
Thanks, John.
As
All
long as he
those in
buys it at
favor?
Ace, keeps it local.
Yes. keep
I
it
think he
local
is
at
buying it at Ace, and then we
Okay.
don't even have to pay tax anyway, so.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
think you're
true.
ab-
And
I
if
think you're
it
both
is,
right.
if it is at Ace, then it's definitely an Ego because they have the contract on that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's at Ace.
Okay, so
Great.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Melissa? Ryan? Joan? Thumbs up? Thumbs
Aye.
up. Thank you. Okay, Juby, aye. Okay, thank you, everybody. Good to go.
Okay, so next, just a quick update. So Ed has done a great, so first of all, we had the baseboards replaced and the walls stained and finished in the lodge. It looks like a different lodge. It looks fantastic. And that's thanks to Gordon Lincoln. He has done that, provided that service for us.
But tell them where he got the wood.
Yeah, he had it old wood in his like workshop, so it blends perfectly, and cut it up precisely and put it up and washed everything, stained everything. I mean, where do you see it? It's like when you look at, if you look at previous pictures, you'll say, oh, and you look now and you go, oh my God, it just looks amazing. And he
Does.
just did a fantastic job. So that's done, which looks great. Ed has done a fantastic job over the winter. He put a banister up. It's going up to the attic because those steps are treacherous. They're not quite set right. And a brand new oak banister with brass hookings. I'm not sure what they're called. But so that you can reach. Actually, Wes was there today, and he was the first one to use the banister to go up to the attic. So that was, so they've been blessed. And and he's done the doors over in the lodge where they didn't have locks. They were the pieces of wood missing. I mean, he's just done an amazing job. I mean, being a retired master carpenter, we're so lucky to have him. And Bill has cleaned the butcher block in the kitchen, so it's ready for our cooking show.
According to the Board of Health
guidelines
and formula, he used everything in those butcher block.
Everything.
Those butcher block counters look brand new.
Yeah, everything sanded, oil, sanded, salted, lemon juice, and then olive oil. I mean, vinegar, white vinegar, and then an oil on the end to seal it. They look amazing. Then we have, so we sold the mixer. And it's a happy story because this couple came from Vermont, drove all the way down, stayed in a hotel, came the next day, loved the mixer, rented a U-Haul, put it on the back, took a couple hours, got it out, put it there, and it's going to their pizza shop and gonna make pizzas. Oh. So our mixer went to a well-loved place. And we got $100, and with $100, I took the liberty already, but we can getting it's a workstation on wheels, and it has a granite countertop and with drawers that pull out that you can stack utensils, and it can go from workstation to workstation on the new butcher block. So when we have the cooking show, I mean, it'll be ideal.
Right.
So and that was only $85. So we actually saved some money on that. And the sign is being removed tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and they're going to put a temporary sign up, and that's going to be about a week. He's thinking 40 hours to get that done, refurbished,
And reinstalled?
and reinstalled.
Okay.
Yeah. Within a week. And he's going to do the beams, just, refinish them in the same wood, not white, the same wood. They're going to do that. The pizza oven, I've been in contact with him. I think he's coming this week to be able to refurbish that. They're so slammed. They're so busy. It's back and forth, but I'm pretty confident that this week is the week that they're going to be able to start working on that. Gordon is definitely coming this week and doing the back deck, taking out the beam that's not of code and making it an archway. And all this has been, I've gotten 3 quotes on everything. So procurement is, we're top notch. Landscaping, called 3 landscapers. And I've got, Ed Sheehan has got some great ideas. I had hoped I had something in writing today to send to you, but not yet. He got tied up. He's probably going to come tomorrow, but he's got some great ideas he's thinking just like wood chips, flattening it down, and then stone around the hearth and some great decorative trees and shrubs. And he knows about the gazebo. So I think on our next meeting, I'll have a definitive, plan for you to look at. But of the 3 I called, I think that seems like the most promising.
Yeah, because we just want to keep the trees down so that we don't ever have to chop anything down again. We don't want anything that's going to damage the
Yeah.
lawn.
Oh no. Yeah. He's talking, like the flowering plums, that
Okay.
type of thing. the
And I think he was
ornamental
talking
trees.
boulders as well.
Oh, and he had some boulders on site that he's probably going to donate, maybe even engrave. Camp Kawani.
that's
We're working on
wonderful.
it, and he's even talking maybe a little bit of granite. So I think it's really going to be good. So I'm just kind of waiting for that, on paper to show you.
Okay,
But I'm
Brian
excited
Pizzetti.
about it. And
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
Brian, did you have a comment on that?
Yeah, just a quick question, Dory. I don't know if you had a chance or even if it was part of the conversation, but did you speak to him at all about like the area you park in as maybe being part of that? If he might be able to kind of spruce that up rather than it looking all run down and ragged.
No, but I will absolutely, because we've just had phone conversations at this point. I thought at this point we'd been able to meet face to face and have something in writing, but they're so busy. But yes,
yeah.
I absolutely will include that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And lastly, so the hood work, to the stove, we do have to procure it as, in Chapter 149, a municipal building. Not a big deal. It's just going to be advertised on Combis and on the central register. It doesn't
Because
really set us back because he was 4 weeks out anyway, and we've got to put it out and see what we get. So
And that's technically because it is considered a repair to a building.
it is. It
Yeah.
is. And the town administrator, requested that that's the way he sees it. That's the way we do it. So that's fine. That's the way we'll do it. And it's not a setback or anything. And we'll, do it right. And I think we're really moving forward in almost every area, I have to say. I was going to say a lot of areas, but I think almost every area. I think we're moving forward.
Okay. Thank you, Dory. And once again, you're amazing and we love you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else before we make a motion to adjourn? We need to set our next meeting. Does anybody have any conflicts or anything?
April 4th is Easter, so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a
So the-
Sunday. The 5th is a,
At the 5th and the 19th.
The 19th is the vacation week. I'm okay with it. Is anybody else okay with it? Melissa?
you're fine.
Everybody okay? So we're gonna do the 5th and the 19th?
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Is there
Just check
anything
the
else
5th.
before I ask for a motion to adjourn? Okay,
I'm just checking the 5th. Hold on. I might
Okay,
have a
sorry.
meeting.
sorry.
Nope, that's fine. Okay. 5th is
Okay.
fine. Yep.
So do we want to make a motion? Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Anybody want to second it?
Second.
Thank you, John. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Do I even need to make a roll call on that one?
No.
Think we can all agree? Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.